Welcome to Kramer's Classics. Last year on 2021, a friend of mine called and said, there's a guy selling 3 Mini Enduros. Are you going to buy them or am I? One of the Mini Enduros ran but was in pretty rough shape, and the other 2 were in a box. So I wound up buying all 3 and restoring all 3. And here's the end result. A lot of fun, a lot of work. And we're going to take you through on this video the disassembly and reassembly of these fun little bikes. These are what's known as Yamaha JT-2s. They were only produced in 1972. After that, Yamaha went on to produce the GT80 series. In 1971, Yamaha made this same bike but without the lighting kit, better known as the JT-1. There are 4 speeds with a clutch and a 60cc rotary valve engine. Fairly unique, pretty torquey and pretty peppy. We'll give you some shots of us zooming around on them. Hope you enjoy the video.
It's the mini bike season. Here is the reason Yamaha sets you free now. Grab a mini and ride it.
There's never been a better time to buy the better Mini.
It's a warm August day. Bike number 1 is coming along. We got it running well. And we've started bikes 2 and 3, our 1972 JT-2s. Got the steering stem ready to go together on this one. And we just completed bike number 2. And battery box. This one I actually made from scratch. It was missing one. There's a couple of aircraft rivets holding that together. So we're plugging away. Hope to have all 3 of these done pretty soon. This wheel just came out of the bead blaster. The sprocket was cleaned up and refinished. It looks really good. Got the new tire on there. And this is for number 2. Alright, we got a lot done today. Got the suspension and the wheels on frame number 2. And we also got the ignition coil installed. You want to be careful to make sure you clean off some of the powder coat so you got a good ground there, and also a little powder coat cleaned off down here for a good engine ground. A lot of parts cleaned up, and here's the triple clamp for number 3. Been through repaint and bead blasting, so we're making some good progress. Hopefully we'll get the other motors done this week and get them into the frames. So we just got the 3rd motor back together. Clutch plates and springs checked out. The springs were about a ½ millimeter short, so I put in 1 millimeter spacers, which should take up the slack. The clutch plates looked great. And then something I'm going to do right now is check to make sure the shifting mechanism is working correctly. And one of the tricks I've learned is to take this plastic tube and slide it over the connecting rod, so when we're rotating the motor it doesn't bang up the connecting rod. And we'll go ahead and hook a drill motor up to it and slowly run it. I've just replaced all the seals and the bearings all look good. Well, let's go ahead and see if the shifting mechanism is working properly. So I can spin the motor slowly. And there's first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. There it goes. Third, second, first, and neutral. So the transmission appears to be working. More fun to do it now than find out later after you put it back in the bike. You got a problem. Just installed the oil pump and a new oil line. And we got the carburetor ready to go, and then we'll move on to the cylinder. And don't forget to torque in a cross pattern. 90 inch-pounds is the number. So we've got the motor in number 2, and we're going to install the exhaust and then see if we can get her running here. Got the timing set, got the carb in our temporary oil tank installed. Should be good to go. So we got frame number 3 going, got the forks installed. Haven't found the proper supports for a headlight, so those are some aftermarket ones until we find the correct ones. Frame number 1 is waiting for paint and a few more accessories. This is the motor for number 3. We just finished doing the timing on that. And I'm preparing the wheels and tires so we can get that installed and start testing that motor. And then here's frame number 2. And it needs some clutch adjustment, but everything else is working great on it. So again, waiting for paint and a few other doodads. We'll get her done. So we've got the frame basically together on number 3. And we're getting ready to install the final motor. Just need to get a little extra help here. It's kind of heavy to hold up by yourself. Moving right along. Things are progressing pretty well on bike number 3. Wanted to share a little problem I had. I put new points and condenser in. If you look closely right here where the pointer is, the spring on the new points was sticking up about 4 or 5 millimeters and actually rubbing on the flywheel and shorting it out. So it was very frustrating. You'd get about 1 kick of spark, it would impart some metal to the flywheel and then short itself out with the little particles against the coils. I tried cleaning the coils, all sorts of stuff, and it turned out the answer was right in front of me. So be careful with this, these little springs for the points here. If it's too long, just cut or file that off, and it'll save you a lot of head scratching. Well, today we got our paint in, and you can see we got some of it installed. We got the rear fender and the headlight buckets installed on all 3, along with the oil tanks. And let's see, we got the chrome guards reinstalled on the mufflers, but it's starting to look pretty good. Yeah, we're getting the wiring figured out inside the headlight on number 1, and we're rolling right along. You can see it's a bit of a rat's nest in here, but we're getting it all figured out. And we've got number 3 bike running. We did the second test run on today. Everything's working well. So just a lot of little details, and pretty soon we'll have them all done. We made quite a bit of progress this week. This is number 3, and as you can see, we've got the tin installed and just about done with the wiring. And probably tomorrow we'll get the petcock hooked up and the oil tank, and this one will be running on its own fuel. Same for number 1 here. Getting down to the bottom end. Probably a few electrical issues to chase down. And number 2 is coming along well. Just about ready to wrap these up. It's going to be fun to see them all going. I think we'll have to use them for this year's Christmas card. So the tale of the 3 mini Enduros continues. Frame up restorations. So we were missing the little brake light bracket for the rear brake light for one of them, and just whipped this up out of some aluminum angle and test fitted it. Looks like it's going to work pretty good. We just cut it out on the bandsaw. And here's the finished bracket that I made of aluminum. The original is actually made of mild steel, but painted to match. Should work perfectly on the third bike, which is missing this bracket. Well, we're really getting down to the short strokes here. Number 3, we're just tracing down some wiring gremlins. Number 1 was running great, and now it's developed some carb issues. I think the float is stuck, but no electrical problems, so everything's running well there. And number 2 is doing well, running great, so we're chasing down some final spare parts. The tank badges are proving to be very elusive. Getting a little further along, figuring out some gremlins. You can see we're playing around with the wires back here. We got this tail light to work, but it's on running light most of the time, even when the key is switched off. So we got something hooked up wrong there. Something that takes a really long time is getting all this together. The hoses and vent lines run through this bracket here along with the air cleaner, and it takes an inordinate amount of time to clean and tune all that up. And then we're still working on some wiring gremlins up here. We got all the headlights working, one of the tail lights working, and the high-low beams. This one has a complete original switch. That's what it looks like. And there's your horn. As of right this minute, none of the horns are working. So we'll keep chasing these things down and getting them done. But they're all running well, and it's been a fun project so far. Just lots of fine-tuning. And you can see over here we've got the stock air cleaner installed with the boot and all the plumbing that runs down into here. Curiously, these little tubes on the carburetor, top and bottom, have to go outside this chamber, and this little adjustment plug needs to be plugged up here, and these tubes need to come outside to vent, because that'll be under vacuum once the engine's running. So all in all, things are going quite well. Just 99% done and 99% to go. But they're all running and riding well. Official video, Daisy learning to clutch. Well, thanks for watching our video. I like to say your teeth hurt when you ride these because you're smiling all the time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It helps out the channel. Thanks for watching.